Stanley Kirk Burrell, better known as MC Hammer, is an American rapper, dancer, producer, songwriter, and business consultant born in Oakland, California on March 30, 1962. Along with a Mattel doll and other merchandise, Hammer starred in a Saturday morning cartoon called Hammerman in 1991. He became an ordained preacher during the late 1990s and hosted MC Hammer and Friends, a Christian ministry program on TBN. Hammer was also a dance judge on Dance Fever in 2003, was the co-creator of the dance website dancejam.com, and was executive producer of his own reality show titled Hammer Time, which aired on the A&E network during the summer of 2009.
As you come on to the page, kindly hit the like bell, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so as yet. And don't forget to put on the notification bell, so you can be notified when I drop the next video. Thank you.
Throughout his career, Hammer has managed his own recording business as a record label CEO. As a result, he has created and produced his own acts music including Ho Frat Who, Oaktown's 3.5.7, Special Generation, Annalise, DRS, B. Angie B., Gentricosia, and Oakland Fight Club. A part of additional record labels, he has associated, collaborated and recorded with Psy, BMF, Tupac Shakur, Teddy Riley, Felton Pilot, Da Dog Pound, The Whole Nine, The Hines Brother, Twan Sanders, Big Daddy Kane, BB and CeCe Winans and John Gibson. Hammer signed with Suge Knight's Death Row Records in 1995. Bet ranked Hammer as the number 7 best dancer of all time. Vibes, the best rapper ever tournament, declared him the 17th favorite of all time during the first round. He continues to perform concerts at music venues and appears in television along with participating in social media and ministry outreach functions. He is also active in community and sports activities, being interviewed locally and nationally. Stanley Kirk Burrell was born in Oakland, California, on March 30, 1962. His father was a professional poker player and gambling casino manager at Oaks Card Club's cardroom, as well as a warehouse supervisor. He grew up poor with his mother, a secretary, and 8 siblings in a small apartment in East Oakland. He recalled that 6 children were crammed into a 3-bedroom housing project apartment. The Burrells would frequent thoroughbred horse races, eventually becoming owners and winners of several graded stakes. In the Oakland Coliseum parking lot, the young Burrell would sell stray baseballs and dance accompanied by a beatboxer. Oakland Athletics team owner Charlie Finley saw the 11-year-old doing splits and hired him as a clubhouse assistant and bat boy as a result of his energy and flair. Burrell served as a bat boy with the team from 1973 to 1980. In 2010, Hammer discussed his lifelong involvement with athletes on ESPN's First Take, as well as explained that his brother Louis Burrell Jr., who would later become Hammer's business manager, was actually the bat boy while his job was to take calls and do play-by-plays for the A's absentee owner during every summer game. Colorful Finley, who lived in Chicago, used the child as his eyes and ears. Reggie Jackson, in describing Burrell's role for Finley, took credit for his nickname. Hell, our chief executive, the guy that ran our team, that communicated with Charlie Finley, the top man there, was a 13-year-old kid. I nicknamed him Hammer because he looked like Hank Aaron, whose nickname was the Hammer. Team players, including Milwaukee Brewers second baseman Pedro Garcia, also dubbed Burrell Little Hammer due to his resemblance to Aaron. And Ron Bergman, at the time an Oakland Tribune writer who covered the A's, recalled that he was an informant in the clubhouse, an informant for Charlie, and he got the nickname Pipeline. According to Hammer, Charlie said, "I'm getting you a new hat. I don't want you to have a hat that says A's on it. I'm getting you a hat that says XVP, that says Executive Vice President. You're running the joint around here." Every time I come down to the clubhouse, Rolly would yell out, "Oh, everybody be quiet. Here comes Pipeline." He acquired the nickname MC for being a master of ceremonies, which he used when he began performing at various clubs while on the road with the A's, and eventually in the military. Hammer, who played second base in high school, dreamed of being a professional baseball player but did not make the final cut at a San Francisco Giants tryout. However, he has been a participant player in the annual Taco Bell All-Star Legends and Celebrity Softball game wearing an A's cap to represent Oakland American League. Burrell went on to graduate from McClemens High School in Oakland in 1980 and took undergraduate classes in communications. Discouraged by his studies at a local college, and failing to win a place in a professional baseball organization, he joined the United States Navy for 3 years. He served with Patron Patrol Squadron of NAS Moffett Field in Mountain View, California, as a petty officer third-class aviation storekeeper until his honorable discharge. Before Hammer's successful music career and Rags to Riches to Rags and Back saga, Burrell formed a Christian rap group with singer and musician John Gibson, or JG, known as the Holy Ghost Boys. Hammer and Tremaine Hawkins performed with Gibson's band in concerts at various venues such as the Beverly Theater in Beverly Hills. Some early songs produced were Word, B-Boy Chill, a live audio performances on YouTube, and Stupid Deaf Y'all, 1987. Hammer also produced Son of the King during this time, releasing it on his debut album Feel My Power, 1986, as well as the re-released version Let's Get It Started, 1988. Additionally, The Wall featured Hammer, a song Stanley Kirk Burrell, or KB, originally identified himself as MC. Hammer released on Gibson's album Change of Heart, 1988. This was CCM's first rap hit by a blue-eyed soul singer and/or duo. In addition to later remixes of early releases, Hammer produced and recorded many rap songs that were never made public, yet are now available on the internet. His record labels such as Busted Records, Oaktown Records and Full Blast, Hammer has introduced, signed and/or produced new talent including Oaktown's 3.5.7, Ho Frat Who, Vocal Quintet Special Generation, Annalise, James Greer, One Cause One Effect, and B. Angie B., The Stooge Playas, Acid as seen on Ego Trips The White Rapper Show, on Teabag, Common Unity, Emu, and Pleasure Ellis, 3 all collaborating with him and/or producing music of their own during his career. At about the age of 12, Oakland native Keisha Cole recorded with Hammer and sought career advice from him. In the mid-1980s, while rapping in small venues and after a record deal went sour, Hammer borrowed 20,000 United States dollars each from former Oakland A's players Mike Davis and Dwayne Murphy to start an independent record label business. As the CEO of Busted Productions, Hammer kept the company going by selling records from his basement and car. Busted Records spawned Bustin' Records, and collectively the companies had more than 100 employees. Recording singles and selling them out of the trunk of his car, he marketed himself relentlessly. Coupled with his dance abilities, Hammer's style was unique at the time. Now billing himself as MC Hammer, he recorded songs for his debut album Feel My Power in 1986. It was originally released on his independent label, Bustin' Records via Oaktown Records, and produced by Felton Pilot of Con Funk Shun. It sold over 60,000 copies, and was distributed by City Hall Records. Hammer released singles from the album, including Ring 'Em, in 1987. Largely on the strength of tireless street marketing by Hammer and his wife, in addition to continuous radio play, it achieved considerable popularity at dance clubs in the San Francisco Bay Area. In the spring of 1988, Tony Valera, a 107.7 KSOL radio DJ, played the track, Let's Get It Started, in his mix shows. The track also gained popularity in nightclubs. Hammer declared he was second to none from Dougie Fresh, LL Cool J or DJ Run, within the song. He would continue to call out other East Coast rappers in future projects as well. Heartened by his rising prospects, Hammer launched into 7-day-a-week rehearsals with the growing troupe of dancers, musicians and backup vocalists he had hired. It was Hammer's stage show, and his infectious stage presence, that led to his big break in 1988 while performing in an Oakland club. There he impressed a record executive who didn't know who he was, but knew he was somebody, according to the new Rolling Stone Encyclopedia of Rock and Roll. Though Hammer had previously received and declined offers from major record labels before, he agreed to a multi-album contract with Capitol Records with a $1,750,000 advance. It did not take long for Capitol to recoup its investment. Once signed to Capitol Records, Hammer reissued his first record, a revised version of Feel My Power, with additional tracks added, which sold over 2 million copies. Pump It Up also performed during Showtime at the Apollo on September 16, 1989. Turn This Mother Out, Let's Get It Started, and They Put Me in the Mix were the most popular singles from this album, which all charted. Not entirely satisfied with this first multi-platinum success, Hammer's music underwent a metamorphosis, shifting from the standard rap format. I decided the next album would be more musical, he said at the time. Purists chastised him for being more dancer than rapper. Sitting in a leopard print bodysuit before a concert, he defended his style. People were ready for something different from the traditional rap style. The fact that the record has reached this level indicates the genre is growing. Hammer was very good friends with Arsenio Hall, as well as a then unknown teen named Robert Van Winkle, aka Vanilla Ice, despite later rumors that there was a beef between the two rappers, which was addressed during the height of both their careers on Hall's show, and whom he would later reunite with in a 2009 concert in Salt Lake City. And as such, Hammer was first invited to perform the song, You Can't Touch This, prior to its release, on the Arsenio Hall show in 1989. He also performed Dancing Machine, which later appeared in the Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him, the movie 1990. Hammer used some of the proceeds from this album to install a rolling recording studio in the back of his tour bus, where he recorded much of his second album. In 1989, Hammer was featured on You've Got Me Dancing with Glenn Goldsmith, which appeared on Goldsmith's album Don't Turn This Groove Around via RCA Records. The track was Hammer's first release in the UK. Hammer also appeared in Glenn Goldsmith's music video for this song. The single failed to chart. During this period, Hammer formed the rap group Oaktown's 3.5.7, releasing the number 9 single, Yeah, 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 from the album Wild and Loose 1989. Hammer's third album and second major label release, Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him, 85, was released February 12, 1990, with an original release date of January 1, 1990. It included the successful single, You Can't Touch This, which sampled Rick James's Super Freak. It was produced, recorded and mixed by Felton Pilot and James Early on a modified tour bus while on tour in 1989. Despite heavy airplay and a number 27 chart debut, You Can't Touch This stopped at number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart because it was released only as a 12-inch single. Clarification needed, however, the album was a number 1 success for 21 weeks due primarily to this single, the first time ever for a recording on the pop charts. The song has been and continues to be used in many films and television shows, and appears on soundtrack and compilation albums as well, such as Man of the House and Back-to-Back hits. Follow-up successes included a cover of the Kai Lights, Have You Seen Her, and Pray, a beat sampled from Prince's When Doves Cry, and Faith No More's We Care a Lot, and which was his biggest hit in the US, peaking at number 2. Pray was also a major UK success, peaking at number 8. The album went on to become the first hip-hop album to earn diamond status, selling more than 18 million units to date. During 1990, Hammer toured extensively in Europe, which included a sold-out concert at the National Exhibition Centre in Birmingham. With the sponsorship of PepsiCo International, Pepsi CEO Christopher A. Sinclair went on tour with him during 1991. The album was notable for sampling other high-profile artists and gave some of these artists a new fan base. Dancin' Machine sampled the Jackson 5, Help the Children, also the name of an outreach foundation Hammer started. 91 interpolates Marvin Gaye's Mercy Mercy Me The Ecology, and She's Soft and Wet also sampled Prince's Soft and Wet. All of the songs were complemented by the background vocals of his singing group called Special Generation Band. This combination of sound made this album to be successful on radio and video television, with You Can't Touch This, Pray, most successful, Have You Seen Her, Here Comes the Hammer, and Yo! Sweetness, UK only, all charting. The album increased the popularity of hip-hop music. It remains the genre's all-time best-selling album. Music videos from this and previous albums began to receive much airplay on MTV and VH1. A movie also accompanied the album, and was produced in 1990, entitled Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him, the movie, with portions of his music videos included within the movie. 9-3 During this same time, Hammer also appeared in the West Coast Rap All-Stars Posse Cut, We're All in the Same Gang. Additionally, Hammer released the tracks This Is What We Do on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie soundtrack 1990 and That's What I Said on the Rocky V soundtrack 1990. A critical backlash began over the repetitive nature of his lyrics, his clean-cut image, and his perceived over-reliance on sampling entire hooks by others for the basis of his singles. Criticisms also directed to his contemporary Vanilla Ice. He was mocked in music videos by Third Base, including a rap battle with MC Search, the DOC, DJ DeBrands, and Ice Cube. Oakland hip-hop group Digital Underground criticized him in the CD insert of their Sex Packets album, by placing Hammer's picture in it and referring to him as an unknown derelict. Q-Tip criticized him in Check the Rhyme, saying, What you say, Hammer? Rap is not pop, if you call it that then stop. LL Cool J dissed him in To Da Break of Dawn, from his Mama Said Knock You Out album, calling Hammer an amateur, swinging a hammer from a body bag, his pants, and stated, my old gym teacher ain't supposed to rap. However, it could have been a response to Hammer calling him out in Let's Get It Started, when he was mentioned along with Run DMC and Doug E. Fresh as rappers that Hammer claimed to be better than. LL Cool J would later compliment and commend Hammer's abilities talents on VH1's 100 Greatest Songs of Hip Hop, which aired in 2008. Ice-T came to Hammer's defense on his 1991 album OG Original Gangster. A special shout out to my man MC Hammer. A lot of people diss you, man, but they just jealous. Ice-T later explained that he had nothing against people who were pop rap from the start, but rather MCs who switch from being hardcore or dirty to pop rap in order to sell more records. Despite the criticisms, Hammer's career continued to be highly successful, including tours in Asia, Europe, Australia, and Russia. Soon after, MC Hammer Mattel dolls, lunchboxes, and other merchandise were marketed. He was also given his own Saturday morning cartoon, called Hammerman, which he hosted and voiced. Too Legit to Quit. After publicly dropping the MC from his stage name, Hammer released Too Legit to Quit, also produced by Felton Pilot, in 1991. Hammer answered his critics with certain songs from the album. Sales were strong, over 5 million copies, 95, with the title track being the biggest hit single from this record. The album peaked in the top 5 of the Billboard 200. Another hit came soon after, with Adam's Groove, which appeared on both the Addams Family motion picture soundtrack and the vinyl and cassette versions of Too Legit to Quit, reaching number 7 in the US and number 4 in the UK. His video for the song appeared after the movie. Hammer set out on a high-profile tour promoting the album, which included a stage show loaded with singers, dancers, and backup musicians. In 1992, Boyz II Men joined the tour as an opening act. While traveling the country, their tour manager Khalil Roundtree was murdered in Chicago, and the group's future performances of It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday were dedicated to him. As a result of this unfortunate experience, the song would help advance their success. Ultimately, however, the lavish show proved too expensive to support through album sales, and it was cancelled partway through its scheduled run. Music videos were produced for all 4 singles released from this album, including Do Not Pass Me By and This Is the Way We Roll, all which charted. The Too Legit to Quit video featured many celebrity appearances. It's been ranked as one of the most expensive videos ever made. The hand motions used within the song and video also became very popular. The song proved to be successful in the US, peaking in the top 10 at number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100. Despite the album's multi-platinum certification, the sales were 1/3 of Please Hammer Don't Hurt 'Em. At the end of the Too Legit to Quit video, after James Brown enlists Hammer to get the famous glove of Michael Jackson, a silver-white sequined glove is shown on the hand of a Michael Jackson look-alike doing the Too Legit to Quit hand gesture. In a related story, MC Hammer appeared on The Wendy Williams Show July 27, 2009, and talked about his hit reality show Hammer Time on A&E, his marriage, his role as a dad, and the reasons he eventually went bankrupt. He told an amusing story about a phone call he received from MJ regarding the portion of the Too Legit to Quit video that included a fake Michael Jackson, giving his approval and inclusion of it. He explained how Michael had seen the video and liked it, and both expressed they were fans of one another. Hammer and Jackson would later appear, speak, and/or perform at the funeral service for James Brown in 2006. The artwork featured in the album was created by James B. Young and accompanying studios. During 1991, Hammer was featured on the single, The Blood, from the BB and CeCe Winans album, Different Lifestyles. In 1992, the song peaked at number 8 on the Christian charts. New venture with Oaktown Giant Records, 1992-1993. In 1992, after a 4-year hiatus, Doug E. Fresh signed with Hammer's label, Busted Records, and issued one album, Doin' What I Gotta Do, which, despite some minor acclaim for his single, Bustin' Out on Funk, which sampled the Rick James 1979 single, Bustin' Out, was a commercial failure. Prior to Hammer's next album, The Funky Headhunter, rumors falsely heralded his downfall were most likely a result of the fact he turned over his trimmed down, busted records to his brother and manager Louis Burrell Jr., and his horse racing interests to his brother Chris and their father, Louis Burrell Sr. During his hiatus between albums, Hammer consequently signed a multi-million-dollar deal with a new record company. He said there were a lot of bidders, but not too many of them could afford Hammer. Therefore, Hammer parted ways with Felton Pilot, who had previously worked with the successful vocal group Con Funk Shun, and switched record labels to Giant Records, taking his Oaktown label with him. Hammer was eventually sued by Pilot. Additionally, Hammer launched a new enterprise, called Roll-Witted Entertainment and Sports Management, with clients such as Evander Holyfield, Deion Sanders and Reggie Brooks. 1993, his production company released the hit rap song, Gangsta Lean, by DRS, from their debut album Gangsta Lean. By this time, he also parted ways with his only female executive music business administration consultant and songwriter, Linda Lou McCall, who previously worked with the Delphonics, and her husband Louis A. McCall Sr.'s band Con Funk Shun. A music industry vet, McCall was hired by Hammer's brother and manager Louis K. Burrell in 1990. She helped set up his corporate operations and administration at Busted Management and Productions Inc. in Oakland, California. She later became vice president of Hammer's talent management company, overseeing artists like Heavy D, B. Angie B. and Ralph Tresvant. While at Busted, she and her husband brought their artist Keith Martin to Felton's attention, who hired him as a backup musician and vocalist for Hammer's Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him and Too Legit to Quit world tours. In 1993 and 1994, McCall was also involved in several lawsuits against Hammer, which were eventually settled out of court. With a new home and daughter, a new record soon to be released in his new business, Hammer claimed he was happy and far from being broke during a tour of his mansion for Ebony. Today there is a more aggressive Hammer, because the 90s require you to be more aggressive, Hammer said of his music style. There is a harder edge, but I'm no gangsta. Hammer in the 90s is on the offense, on the move, on the attack. And it's all good. In 1993, Hammer began recording his fifth official album. To adapt to the changing landscape of hip-hop, this album was a more aggressive-sounding album entitled The Funky Headhunter. He co-produced this record with funky rapper and producer, Stefan Adamek. While Hammer's appearance changed to keep up with the gangsta rap audience, his lyrics still remained honest and somewhat clean with minor profanity. Yet, as with previous records, Hammer would continue to call out and disrespect other rappers on this album. As with some earlier songs such as Crime Story, from the album Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him 107, the content and reality about street life remained somewhat the same, but the sound was different, resulting in Hammer losing favor with fans. Citation needed. This album peaked at number 2 on the R&B charts and remained in the top 30 midway through the year. The album was eventually certified platinum. Within this album, Hammer disses rappers such as A Tribe Called Quest, Q-Tip, Redman and Run DMC for previous attacks they made against him. Hammer debuted the video for Pumps and a Bump during another appearance on the Arsenio Hall show during the mid-1990s. Host Arsenio Hall said to MC Hammer, "Women in the audience want to know, what's in your Speedos in the Pumps and a Bump video?" A clip from the video was then shown, to much approval from the audience. Hammer didn't give a direct answer, but instead laughed. Arsenio then said, "I guess that's why they call you Hammer. It ain't got nothing to do with Hank Aaron." The video to the album's first single, Pumps and a Bump, was banned from heavy rotation on MTV, with censors claiming that the depiction of Hammer in Speedos and with what appeared to be an erection was too graphic. This led to an alternative video being filmed, with Hammer fully clothed, that was directed by Bay Area native Craig S. Brooks. It's All Good was the second single released from the album. On December 20, 1994, Deion Sanders released Prime Time, a rap album on Hammer's Busted Records label which featured the minor hit, Must Be the Money. Prime Time Keeps on Tickin' was also released as a single. Sanders, a friend of Hammer's, had previously appeared in his Too Legit to Quit music video, and his alter ego, Prime Time, is also used in Hammer's Pumps and a Bump video. The song, Help Lord Won't You Come, appeared in Kingdom Come. In 1995, Hammer released the album Inside Out, or Inside Out V. The album sold poorly compared to previous records, peaking at 119 on the Billboard charts, and Giant Records dropped him and Oaktown Records from their roster. Songs, Going Up Yonder, and Sultry Funk, managed to get moderate radio play, even charting on national radio station countdowns. Along with a fickle public, Hammer would go on to explain in this album that he felt many of his so-called friends he had helped staff had used and betrayed him, which contributed to a majority of his financial loss, best explained in the song, Keep On, and the bio from this album. He would also hint about this again in interviews, including the Ellen DeGeneres Show in 2009. In 1995, Hammer released Straight to My Feet, with Deion Sanders, from the Street Fighter soundtrack released in December 1994. The song charted number 57 in the UK. Hammer's relationship with Suge Knight dates back to 1988. Hammer signed with Death Row Records by 1995, then home to Snoop Dogg and his close friend, Tupac Shakur. The label did not release the album of Hammer's music, titled Too Tight, while he had a career with them, although he did release versions of some tracks on his next album. However, Burrell did record tracks with Shakur and others, most notably the song, Too Late Playa, along with Big Daddy Kane and Danny Boy. He later explained his concern about this circumstance in an interview on Trinity Broadcasting Network since he was in Las Vegas with Tupac the night of his death. In October 1996, Burrell and Oaktown signed with EMI, which saw the release of a compilation album of Hammer's hit singles prior to The Funky Headhunter. The album, titled Greatest Hits, featured 12 former hits. In 1998, another, Greatest Hits, album, called Back to Back Hits, was produced and released by SEMA. Another compilation version of Back to Back was later released by Capitol Records in 2006. As Hammer's empire began to collapse when his last album failed to match the sales of its predecessors, and since he unsuccessfully attempted to recast himself in the streetwise hardcore rap mold of the day, Hammer turned to a gospel-friendly audience. In 1998, MC Hammer released his first album in his new deal with EMI, titled Family Affair, because it was to introduce the world to the artists he had signed to his Oaktown Records, Geeman, Teabag, and Common Unity as they made their recording debut. Technically his seventh album since his debut EP, this record was highly promoted on Trinity Broadcasting Network, performing a more gospel version of Keep On from his album Inside Out V, yet featured no charting singles and selling about 1,000 copies worldwide. The album also features a song written for Hammer by Tupac called Unconditional Love. Hammer would later dance and read the lyrics to this song on the first VH1 Hip Hop Honors in 2004. A double album mostly about faith and family values. Additional tracks from Family Affair are Put It Down, Put Some Stop in Your Game, Big Man, Set Me Free, Our God, Responsible Father Shout, He Brought Me Out, Demon Intro Eyes Like Mine, Never Without You, Praise Dance Theme Song, Shame of the Name, Smoot Out Intro, Teabag Intro, Silly Heart, I Wish You Were Free, Common Unity Intro, Someone to Hold to You, Pray, 1998, Let's Get It Started, 1998, and with Hammer Music Shouts Tour Info, announcements between songs. The compact discs are also PC ready, with interactive features. After this album, new projects were rumored to be in the works, including an album War Chest, Turn of the Century, and a soundtrack to the film Return to Glory, The Powerful Stirring of the Black Man, but neither appeared. In 2000, another compilation album was released, titled The Hits. It contains 17 tracks from his first 4 albums. Following the September 11, 2001 attacks, MC Hammer released his 8th studio album, Active Duty, on his own World Hit Music Group label, the musical enterprise under his Hammertime Holdings Inc. umbrella, to pay homage to the ones lost in the terrorist attacks. The album followed that theme, and featured 2 singles with accompanying videos, No Stoppin' Us USA, and Pop Yo Collar, featuring Wee Wee, which demonstrates the Fat Daddy Pop, in Pop Nito, River Pop, Deliver the Pop, and Poppin' It Up, dance moves. Though the album, like its predecessor, failed to chart and would not sell as many copies as previous projects. Hammer did, however, promote it on such shows as The View and produced a video for both singles. This patriotic album, originally planned to be titled The Autobiography of MC Hammer, donated portions of the proceeds to 9/11 charities. Hammer shot a video for the anthem, No Stoppin' Us USA, in Washington, D.C., with several members of the United States Congress, who sang in the song and danced in the video. Present members of the United States House of Representatives included J.C. Watts, Eddie Bernice Johnson, Thomas M. Davis, Earl Hilliard, Alcee Hastings, Rep. Diane Watson, D. Califf, Rep. Corrine Brown, D. Florida, and Jesse Jackson Jr. Even though MC Hammer ran through $70 million in about 5 years, he says he wouldn't change one thing. Stanley Kirk Burrell, better known as MC Hammer, is an American rapper, dancer, producer, songwriter, and business consultant born in Oakland, California on March 30, 1962. Fun fact, he's an Aries. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, you couldn't go anywhere without hearing an MC Hammer rap song. The award-winning rapper is known for a few of his hit songs such as You Can't Touch This, It's All Good, and Help the Children. But let's be clear, it all started with his You Can't Touch This banger, which earned him a Grammy Award 1991. MC Hammer was also the first ever hip-hop artist to have a diamond certified album. The success of such pop rap hit tracks as "You can't touch this," and "Too legit to quit," made the Oakland-born rapper a certified millionaire. And you couldn't go anywhere without seeing something branded with his name. From billboards, cartoons, advertisements, commercials, and so much more. MC Hammer was ubiquitous, period. Unfortunately, it didn't last forever. While he reportedly made close to $70 million at the height of his career, it took less than 5 years for the rapper to ultimately file for bankruptcy. Fortunately, though, MC Hammer turned it into a testimony. After a short career as a minister, he began rebranding himself as a tech investor and insider. He's invested in several startups and serves as a consultant for places like Salesforce and Twitter. As of currently, MC Hammer has an impressive net worth of $2 million 2024 according to Celebrity Net Worth. Let's take a look at how he went from riches to rags, and back up again. According to the Mirror, MC Hammer was at the peak of his career in the late 1980s and early 1990s. Driven in no small part by the success of his breakthrough album, Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him, there was a time when Hammer was making approximately $30 million a year, and his personal fortune was estimated at approximately $70 million. He purchased almost 20 luxury cars, 21 racehorses, a private jet, and a helicopter. He spent more than $30 million to renovate his mansion in California, and it was adorned with over-the-top fixtures like gold toilets and gold-plated front gates with the words, "Hammer Time," to greet prospective guests. And that was to say nothing of the bowling alley, the 17-car garage, hey, all those luxury cars have to go somewhere, tennis courts, 2 swimming pools, a recording studio, and more. All in all, the mansion spanned a total of 40,000 square feet, and though it only cost MC Hammer $12 million in the purchase price, he subsequently sunk another $30 million into the property. The outlet also revealed MC Hammer even employed a staff of 200 people that reportedly cost him between $500,000 to $1 million a month. Naturally, all that spending was going to catch up to him eventually, and within 5 years, he filed for bankruptcy. In 1996, the SF Gate reported that MC Hammer and his wife, Stephanie Burrell, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. At the time, Hammer listed more than 200 creditors and debts totaling at least $10 million, with only $1 million in assets. Unlike Chapter 7 or Chapter 13 bankruptcy, which are personal bankruptcy filings, Chapter 11 bankruptcy allows for reorganization, usually involving a corporation or partnership. A Chapter 11 debtor usually proposes a plan of reorganization to keep its business alive and pay creditors over time, per the United States courts. What's more, Chapter 11 allows for the debtors to remain in possession of their assets, so long as they stick to the reorganization plan that's approved on behalf of the creditors after a vote. There was also an additional problem that MC Hammer had to face: outstanding taxes. SF Gate reports that Hammer was in debt to the IRS for nearly $800,000, plus more than $500,000 in California state taxes, and more than $200,000 in property taxes on the home. Ultimately, the home was sold, and MC Hammer later told Oprah that he felt the bankruptcy filing was a blessing in disguise. "Some people ask me sometimes, would I go back and change things?" he said. "They are flabbergasted by my answer. My real, true answer is I wouldn't change one thing. I really believe in the butterfly effect. Meaning that if I change one thing, everything else changes. I lose the kids I have now. I lose the relationships I have now. I lose the peace I have now. So I'm very happy with my decision." Today, MC Hammer has his hands in many different types of investments. As Afrotech previously reported, he actually owns a piece of Twitter, and that bit of information was revealed by none other than Chamillionaire. He was basically saying, and I understand he was frustrated, he said. He was like, I give the game about these tech companies to all these artists and they don't be getting it. They be like, pay me to tweet. Meanwhile, he owns a piece of Twitter. In 2011, Billboard revealed that MC Hammer rebranded himself. In Silicon Valley, he's a respected entrepreneur, investor and advisor with a reputation as a savvy early adopter of new technology, the outlet wrote. It's a reputation developed during the course of nearly 2 decades, during which Hammer has invested in or advised dozens of companies. He helped Pandora founder Tim Westergren prepare for meetings with music executives when the service was still called Savage Beast. He gave marketing advice to Salesforce.com. He visited YouTube's offices when it was still located above a pizzeria in San Mateo, Calif, reported the outlet. All told, this has helped Hammer achieve a net worth of $2 million. It's safe to say that he's recovered nicely from any setback he previously had.
As you leave the page, don't forget to hit the like bell and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so as yet. Thank you for watching.